Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the In Game Podcast. Are you ready for a dynamic blend of sports analysis and current events? Well, look no further. Join us as we explore the thrilling highs and heartbreaks and lows of today's sports arena. From buzzer beating shots to the Ryan Garcia tirade, as we're going to explore here today. But that's not all. We'll also dive into the latest headlines, dissecting news stories that keeps us all on the edge of our seats, whether you're a diehard fan or just curious about like what's going on in the world today of sports, hip hop, politics, the Endgame podcast has it covered. So grab your headphones, settle in, and come on, cop a hoodie. We're gonna welcome our first guest. In. This is Muala. What's going on, big dog?
What's good, homie? What's good? Shakir, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Welcome to the Endgame podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna welcome in our second guest. The second guest today is gonna be Weatherman.
Weatherman.
Better known as Stat Man. What's going on, big dog?
What up, though?
Yes, sir. We're actually waiting for one more guest who hadn't actually showed up yet. But how you guys doing today?
Man, we doing well, man. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Blessed. Feeling blessed.
Yep. We got a special guest coming up. His name's JT. You guys know him. He's part of the regular cast. Here we go. Let's all welcome in JT as he about to join us in the In-Game podcast. There he is. There you go.
Live from Afghanistan.
Hey, man, the Black Bin Laden. Everybody, y'all got y'all drinks. I got my margarita for the day. Y'all got y'all drinks ready? This is gonna be live. Yes, sir. We're gonna start this podcast off with a quick media clip, and I want y'all to tell. I'm just gonna open it up for just what y'all got to say about it, and y'all tell me what y'all think. Here we go.
When you say "Make America Great Again," which period are we talking about? The period when women couldn't vote? The period when we were hanging from trees?
I'll answer.
Or like the crack era? Which period in America are you trying to make America like
So I actually think that I would totally rock a hat right now that said "Make Black America Great Again," because Black America.
Make America.
Before,
We're talking about Make America. That wasn't the question.
I am answering your question.
Which period was America great that we're trying to replicate? Which era was it? Tell me.
I think I'll answer your question. I'm ready to answer your question.
Which era was it?
What?
Which era was so great?
Here's the thing that you guys are forgetting. America was actually one of the slavery was all over the world. All over the world. America was. No, I'm not saying it's okay. So why are you saying oh?
Hey man.
America was one of the first countries.
I want to like you so bad.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Smart. I want to like you so much.
I can't answer the question.
I want to hear you. I want to be able to hear them. I want to be able to hear them.
If I can't answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of.
No, I'm not.
You're making light of the enslavement of people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing you breeze over.
All right, fellas, what y'all think? What y'all think's going on here? How y'all feel about how this started out? Let's start with Mula, because Mula, I know how you feel about Candace. I know sort of your views on it. I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, that's Bay. That's Bay right there. Candace, that's Bay. Period. That's what that is. And I mean, they weren't gonna get nowhere with that conversation. T.I. already had played on the audience emotions. So, and then he's not even letting her speak. I mean, he kept interrupting her. So once you get everybody going like that and you keep over talking her, I mean, it's just
when you
don't really look like anything.
With, slavery was all across the world. That's not the question.
Yeah,
you got to explain. You didn't give her any chance to explain her answer, regardless of where it started off. You never let her finish, so you don't know what she was saying. I mean, he interrupted her all throughout the entire thing. He kept interrupting. He kept asking, like, "Are you going to let me answer the question?"
I can see Weatherman holding it back.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I can see. I want to get your take on it, Weatherman. I want to see where you at with it. I know where you at with it for real, but I want to see where you at with it.
He didn't let her get her point across. He was kind of over talking her. He was. But when she started to answer, the first things out her mouth was slavery was everywhere. So, I mean, I know you didn't get to say what you were trying to say, but just
when
starting
you started
off,
off like that,
I honestly, that was like when you got in trouble at school, and no matter what you told your mom, she still was gonna make it seem like it was your fault. It was nothing that she could say in that moment that was
you know
going to
what
not
that
get
is?
interrupted.
You know what that is?
There was nothing she was gonna say at that moment. She was it was like you was in a away game and you trying to shoot a free throw and you telling the home crowd to be quiet. That's not
like,
about to happen.
That's like your mama asked you who broke the table. If your mama asked you who broke the table, you'd be like, you know what? See, what happened was.
But no. Let me. That's a great example. Let me add to that. Let me add to that. If your mom asked who broke the table, and you said I broke the table, and your mom started whooping your ass, but I only broke the table because JT pushed me through it. But I couldn't even get that. I couldn't even get that point across because you already whooping my ass because I told you I broke the table and you jumped to conclusions. You jumped to a conclusion because she did not finish.
Hold on.
You don't know what she was going with it.
You got your ass whooped because you started off not being direct.
Exactly.
Right out the jump. Right out the gates.
That's a very complex answer. There's no America was great in 1959. There's no answer to you got to go through the whole spiel.
We all heard what she said when she went. She didn't go direct at all. She went over.
I don't believe we gave her a chance to speak. They didn't give her a chance to speak, bro. She just started and they interrupted her right off the bat. She didn't finish her statement. Just like I told you.
I give you that. She didn't finish her statement.
That too.
I give you that.
I give you that too.
But it's just the way she started off. It just
It's like we out the gate bad already. Oh.
Yeah.
No, that was already the president when T.I. kept interrupting her.
So here's my take on it. And I think this is what the crew is saying. When you start off equivocating, well, hey, everybody else was doing it. If you start off like that, then you marginalize what the actual point is.
You didn't even give up because she could have said they started off. Everybody in the world was on this slave. America was the first. See, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. You can't. Why? Who is wrong? You can't tell somebody. You didn't even let the person finish their whole statement, bro. You're jumping exactly like I said. If I told my mom I broke the table and she started whooping my ass before I said because you pushed me through it,
but
that's
your
equivalent
of her breaking the table is different because she directed. You're going direct. She didn't go direct.
She can't. She's trying to answer the question. That's not a direct answer question. That's not a yes or no question. That's an answer that needs to be explained.
You are an African American woman. There's a direct question.
The question
There's a direct answer too.
The question was, what period of time was America great? The first thing she said was slavery was all over. So she's actually pinpointing the worst time, the ugliest mark you could find.
But what if she was going to travel with that? Because she started with that, but you don't know where she was going to finish at.
I mean, if she was going to answer the question,
but we have to. You cannot ignore what's been happening. Why should she be afraid to talk about slavery? Who gives a fuck?
Because the question asked,
why everybody's so sensitive about that shit?
Great? No, because the question asks, when was America great? Why would you go to the ugliest period? You supposed to be figuring out the
But
period
they didn't
that we're
even,
trying to
she
get
did
back
not,
to.
you still did not finish because, and then you also remember, he also specified for black people too. He went again and said, when was America great for black people?
Right.
So now she's going through the history of black people. She's starting with the history of black people in America, which
But
consequently
that's
starts with
that's slavery.
slavery. That's not
That's
her
not
fault.
that's not
Okay.
true. That's
So
not true.
I just to sort of, and it doesn't really matter to me. My opinion is she shouldn't have even went to slavery. She should. You don't have to, because she's on a panel of a lot of smart people. So you don't have to educate them people on slavery. She should have probably just said
Who?
during the
T.I. is considered a smart person?
Yeah, he is, but he's educated.
Educated how?
And he's a movie star, and he has. Go ahead.
He graduated.
I'm saying, where's he educated from?
He graduated
cum
laude. How do you say that?
That's like second in his class. Second in his class.
Yeah. See, I was reading it at like 3.
Huh?
I said I was reading at 3.
At 3, he was an exceptional kid at 3. That's
at 3 years old?
Yes, yeah. Clifford Harris. Yes.
I know. Look him up. I'm not about to. Only point I wanted to make is I'm not about to say Killer Mike and T.I. are more educated than Candace Owens is.
But they are. Candace Owens is a high school graduate, but they are. Those are college graduates, so they are more educated.
Okay, so what college did T.I. graduate from and when? And also. Let's not act like they're not convicted felons.
Do you have to be? Malcolm X was a convicted felon, and he was debating.
And that's
hold on. He was debating Harvard graduates,
Donald Trump
and he was eating up Harvard graduates. So you can't say just because you
understand. I understand what you mean, but we also talked about how rappers are in the spotlight of our leaders, right? We all have been
that's
critical
true as well.
of that. Right, so I'm just saying I don't want to make it like T.I. and Killer Michael Obama. That's what I'm not trying to make that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, that's what I'm trying to say. That's all.
I would say that those guys would be great advocates as far as like Malcolm X and what's the name, as far as like for the black community. Carrying it and kicking knowledge. I would say that those are the guys for that.
I would agree with it to a sense, because out of all of the rappers, they do have some activism in their blood. They do actually. I see them out there, but they also are out there to push what they believe is best for black people, and that's okay. Because everybody don't believe the same thing is best for our people. So we believe different things, and that's cool. And that's what I'm saying. He should have heard her out because just because her view is different, they should have heard her out.
Some people grew, and I'm gonna just use this as an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Some people grew up as Will, and some people grew up as Carlton. You're gonna have them no matter where you go. You're going to have them no matter where you go.
I think both of them have a good message, and we should be able to listen to each other on both sides, even if we disagree.
Now I'm going to play a different clip, but we're going to hear Candace all the way out on this different clip. Let's see how y'all feel about this. This clip is, and I have some video to go along with it, but this clip is in particular on, I believe, George Floyd.
People still do not know what happened on the day that George Floyd died. They've never even seen any video outside of the 9-minute video that was played over and over and over again on loop. And they purposefully held back just releasing the police cam, which would have cleared up so many of the lies.
And it's amazing the emotional power of the narrative as opposed to the truth, the story they tell. Joe Biden, a man who's been in government since the 1970s, got on television and said, we are an inherently racist society, an inherently racist government. He basically talked about this trial as if it were difficult to get a conviction of a police officer who has killed a person, which just isn't true. It just isn't true. If you have the testimony, if you have the evidence, you can convict a police officer in this country. He was talking as if it were 40 years ago. People were weeping in the streets when this verdict came in, as if it were not a done deal, as if they weren't. It was.
Okay, let's hear your take on that. All you guys are familiar with the George Floyd thing. If you're not, I have that clip too. If you guys want to see it again, just to refresh your memory, I'll play that again too.
No, man, I don't want to see that.
Okay, Muala T, I'll play it anyway for everybody else. Here we go.
Well, you got him down, man. Let him breathe, least, man.
I think this case has brought up so much about what are you supposed to do when you
I'm going to pause it in a few seconds because I want to show y'all something.
Trying to make an arrest like this and you see something that you don't think is right.
Oh my God. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
Relax.
I can't breathe.
You're doing fine. You're talking fine.
I can't breathe.
I'm pausing it because this is the tape that Candace said they didn't release. So this is the police cam. You can see it on his chest.
Look at his neck.
I think in many ways those bystanders were like many of us who thought they were witnessing something awful, a crime, and they wanted to stop. But
that could have been any of us, that right there.
Stop. But they also know they're powerless. That they can get but so close to the flame.
Let me talk, bro, because you're pushing the narrative and you're pushing it wrong, bro. That's wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
I'm just playing the video.
You're wrong on all of your clips that you're pushing. You're pushing. You're only playing certain segments, and you're creating a narrative off of those certain segments.
How many segments do we have to play to see?
I'm not talking about George Floyd. I'm not talking about George Floyd. I'm talking about Candace Owens and what she just said, and then what dude just said. I'm talking about because
I want to show the
what
whole
is your
clip.
initial question though? Before you,
I just want to play Candace.
Because before you said that,
you have to listen.
You asked how we felt about what Candace Owens just said,
and then I want to refresh.
You didn't let nobody say anything
because I wanted Mula because I want to refresh.
Bro, you don't have to repeat to me what happened.
Okay, but
you just told me what happened.
You must have it wrong, Mula, because what I said was I wanted to refresh everyone's memory on the actual tape. Because if you just don't refresh your memory, then you probably won't know that.
Your initial thing you said was you asked your question before you said that, bro. You asked the question about how we felt about Candace Owens, and then you said, "Let me go ahead and refresh your memory."
I said about what she was.
And then Weatherman said, "I don't need a refresher," and you said, "No, Mula and JT need one." That's what you said. I'm not. It's not about me. I'm telling you what. I'm telling you what you said.
Okay, that's fine.
Which is fine.
Okay. Now listen. It wasn't about Candace Owens. I'm talking about what she said. So I don't care about how y'all feel about Candace Owens. Right now, we're just talking about George Floyd. So get off of the Candace Owens thing right now. We're just talking about the George Floyd. I don't care. Candace Owens as a person, I'm not dealing with that. So you're on that point. I'm not on the Candace Owens point. I don't understand why
you showed a video if we're not going to address it.
I wanted to get, because the initial one, we didn't get to hear everything Candace said because someone interrupted her. T.I. was interrupting her. On this one, I played everything she said. And then,
what can you tell me? What did she say? Because it wasn't.
Okay, let me go back. Let me go back.
He just played it.
But what did she say, JT? What did she say then?
No, he's talking about what she said after that. He's talking about after she said the clip, when she was able to answer. That's what he's talking about.
No, he's not talking about that. He's not. That's not what he's talking about.
I'm asking. What did she say that anybody had a problem with? Because JT yelled out, she on their side. How?
Yeah, that's what it sounds. It sounds like she defending the officer.
She said the last nine, the body cam wasn't released. The dude said if it was released, we don't see why this is in a cut and dry case. It was cut and dry. He should be convicted of killing somebody. I don't see how she went against anything other than saying
She
that body cam wasn't released.
basically she's saying the police actions were called for. They were called for him to
I
have
didn't
them
hear her
on the
say that at all.
bro. She basically
He
said
said
it
that
was
in the
Let's
okay.
beginning.
The
replay the
cop
clip
did
to make
nothing
sure, because I
wrong.
didn't hear that.
She basically
Okay, I didn't
Replay the
hear
clip.
that. Let me replay the clip. Let me listen again, because I didn't hear
Replay,
all of that at
replay the
all.
clip.
People still do not know what happened on the day that George Floyd died. They've never even seen any video outside of the 9-minute video that was played over and over and over again on loop. And they purposefully held back just releasing the police cam, which would have cleared up so many of the lies.
And it's amazing the emotional power of the narrative as opposed to the truth, the story they tell. Joe Biden, a man who's been in government since the 1970s, got on television and said, we are an inherently racist society, an inherently racist government. He basically talked about this trial as if it were difficult to get a conviction of a police officer who has killed a person, which just isn't true. It just isn't true. If you have the testimony, if you have the evidence, you can convict a police officer in this country. He was talking as if it were 40 years ago. People were weeping in the streets when this verdict came in, as if it were not a done deal, as if they weren't. It was.
Okay, so what was she saying, Moolah?
She only said that the only film that was released was the last 9 minutes of the body cam, and if all of the film was released, there wouldn't be any lies. I don't see how that's equating to saying that
you're misinterpreting what she was saying. What she's saying was that the narrative that the public saw is the lie, and that if we had only seen the video from the police cam, it would have cleared up the lies. Well, now I'm playing the video from the police cam, and I want you to tell me where's the lie in the narrative. That's really what we're actually. This ain't about Candace.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. What lie is she talking about?
Well, she's talking about that
Bro,
George Floyd was
the people that was out there watching him with his knee. They got the real footage. She's trying to say that the real footage is the fake footage, and what the police got is the real footage. That's what she's trying to say, bro.
But
That's
either way, she didn't say that he wasn't killed. She didn't say that he wasn't killed by the police officer, though.
Okay, so now hold on. Let me play. I believe this might be additional to that. Hold on. I believe. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
People still do not know what happened on the day that George Floyd died. They've never even seen any video outside of the 9-minute video that was played over and over and over again on loop. And they purposefully held back just releasing the police cam, which would have cleared up so many of the lies.
And it's amazing the emotional power of the narrative as opposed to the truth, the story they tell. Joe Biden, a man who's been in government since the 1970s, got on television and said, we are an inherently racist society, an inherently racist government. He basically talked about this trial as if it were difficult to get a conviction of a police officer who has killed a person, which just isn't true. It just isn't true. If you have the testimony, if you have the evidence, you can convict a police officer in this country. He was talking as if it were 40 years ago. People were weeping in the streets when this verdict came in, as if it were not a done deal, as if it wasn't the Derek Chauvin who was the guy under pressure. It's amazing how completely the press, working together with the left, has sold this narrative that this is a racist country. I lived out of this country for most of the 90s. This is the least racist country on the face of the planet.
You would think that former Vice President Joe Biden would acknowledge the fact that America is not a backwards racist country, as he stood next to the first black man to be elected as President of the United States.
She's going to keep going, Mool. I want you to take a note of what she just said, because we'll come back to it. But she's going to keep going. Take the note of her saying America isn't racist, but we'll come back to it.
United States 2 times, right? This is a majority white country, 60% white country.
Well, you can't
it would
say
not have
that,
happened.
'cause
Barack Obama
Moolah-
would
No,
have
no,
never
Jay,
been president had it not been for the fact that America has moved on from race. But they don't want us to move on from race anymore, and that's exactly where we're getting at.
That's all they've got.
And I want to get to this tweet because I was so physically nauseated by it. It was from the mayor of Minnesota. He says, ready, George Floyd came to Minneapolis to better his life, but ultimately his life will have bettered our city. The jury joined in a shared conviction that has animated Minneapolis for the last 11 months. They refused to look away and affirmed he should still be here today. Brandon, Minneapolis to better his life. When you want to better your life, how much fentanyl do you take?
Mool, I want you to make a point of that. I'll pause it. Okay, so did you hear that movie? We need me to play that part again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so
I heard it.
So I want you to make a note, and we'll come back to that.
Sure.
Simon says, I don't know how much fentanyl he's taking to write a tweet like this. If you want to better your life, I think you would start by not using drugs and trying to buy stuff with fake money and resisting arrest from police officers. I don't know what world we live in.
Right.
Why are these people so lame?
They're just lying.
They're just making up stuff to stoke hatred and vitriol in our country. That guy was a thug. That guy was a criminal. That guy was using drugs. He's not an example of anybody. He don't represent me as a black man.
And I hate that. I want to point that out. I hate when people say to me, how do you not see yourself in George Floyd? How do you not see your brother, your cousin? I don't know. My brother and my cousins aren't ingesting fentanyl, resisting. Why would I see myself in George Floyd? What person goes, I really see myself in this drug addict?
Whoa.
Okay, now this can go on for 10 minutes, so
American.
Okay.
Whoa.
Bro,
I
that's
hope
why
they gave more context to it.
That's
fellas.
why I say I didn't want to see
She is saying very powerful. Whoa.
Bro, that's why I didn't want to see it. I kind of didn't want to go down that road. But I mean, okay,
Whoa.
let's say he is on fentanyl. Hold on, let me just get this out. Let's just say he was on fentanyl. He was a resisting arrest. Did he deserve to die because of that?
Hell no. Absolutely not.
And that's
Absolutely
and I ain't got nothing
not.
else to say about that.
Absolutely not.
Y'all can have
now
it.
let me ask this question though. Does that stuff matter? Should that stuff have been known?
No, I don't think that mattered. I don't think that should even been known. Like if by chance, by chance, me and Mula, we're gonna do a live podcast, or we're gonna go to the casino, because we do that. We do that. Y'all may not know, but we link up and we go to the casino. We don't tell everybody, but we do. We may dip in and dip out in 2 hours. That's kind of what we do. That's kind of what I think. However Mula prepares to go to the casino is on Mula. If the police don't need to know how you prepare to go to the, but if on your way there, if something has happened and you call me, hey Malik, they're pulling me over, but by the time I get there, you've been murdered. To me, it don't matter what you did when you was at home or on your way to the casino. What matters is why they pulled you over and what happened after that. If they find in your system something that they think, that the public don't like, let's say marijuana, which has been, it's easier now because it's more acceptable. But back then it wasn't, because the law still was against it. Fentanyl, which helps helps people with pain because they've been on these narcotics. Right. So whatever was in his system prior to that happening, and we do know that they didn't pull him over because of that. They got him because someone in the store said he tried to get him a fake $20 bill, which he may not have even known it was fake, because I don't know, most of us won't even know a really good fake. But I don't even know if I got it really. I might, when you go to the store, when I give him 100, I'd be afraid it's gonna come back fake, because I don't know.
They be marking it. They be looking at it like,
I'd be afraid. I'd be afraid myself.
Especially that mom come out crispy out the ATM. I'm already knowing.
Yeah. So to answer, I took a long answer, but to answer your question, right. I don't believe it matters what his workup was.
So I'm going to totally agree with you guys on the extra points that she made. I don't think they were necessary. I understand where your frustration is coming from as black men, and that you care about our people. I understand that. But I'm not as frustrated with it, because her stance is the truth, nothing but the truth. I don't care. So whatever, that's her stance. When what I mean by that is a lot of the things from the leading up, because I followed the George Floyd thing, a lot of the things that are leading up to the George Floyd thing, a lot of the lies or the truth wasn't there. So I think that it is still people out there that want to know his past. If, let's say, that was Malik, it'd have been even worse, because they would have been like ex-military vet, father, active in the community. You know what I'm saying? His record is going to be a lot better than what George Floyd record is, which is going to make it even worse. So you should even be like, dang, they even doing this to a brother that's actually not on drugs, and also when I saw the tape, I know that, I don't know what's in dude head, Derek Chernoff, or what if his name is. But when I saw it, I didn't think that he tried to kill him. But I did think that he was going overboard and he tried to make an example of him. Because what some people were saying, that the fact that he's talking, he's breathing, which that was his last breaths. But at the same token, it was hard for me to think that he tried to do it. But it doesn't matter if he tried to or not. The fact that you killed him is still manslaughter type shit. So, but I didn't think that. And they clearly said in the case that they're trained to do that. They're trained to put their knee across their neck. They're trained to do that.
I get it. I get that. But at that point, when his knees across
It was
his neck,
excessive. It was excessive.
it was excessive. But at the same time, he's subdued already.
Yeah.
He's cuffed. He's laying face down.
Yeah.
He's subdued already.
Yeah.
Why is your knee?
No reason whatsoever. There's no justification for that whatsoever, other than that's what they was trained to do, and the man, he took it overboard.
Wait. You're trained to do that when? Until he's subdued?
It's not
until he's subdued and after he's subdued?
So when I saw the court and I was looking at I watched the whole case. I do this type shit. I watch cases. I watched the entire case. When I watched the case, the head trainer of the police department said it's at their discretion when they can get their knee off the person. It's not until JT. I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you, bro. I agree.
What they law say.
That's what I feel you. I understand.
I'm subdued. I can't move.
Okay,
and for one, I got this problem. It's a breathing problem. So ain't too much tussling I'm finna be able to do, especially if all that shit in my system.
And that's why I think that information was important to know, because if they didn't know his history, that he had a breathing problem, that fentanyl can increase your heart rate, and he had an enlarged heart already, it was easier for him to die. And even though the dude was excessive with it, his conditions didn't help. It didn't help the situation.
Would he have died? It was easier for him to die? Would he
because
have died
he had a large heart
on his neck?
Because probably not. But I'm telling you what the doctor said. This is what the doctor said, because they interviewed in the case. They interviewed the head of police training for their department, as well as a doctor, the autopsy doctor, the culinary doctors. That's what they call them. The guy who did the autopsy. They interviewed him as well.
What disturbed me is the rhetoric that she used, because it was a black lady using the same playbook that they use on black men. Trayvon Martin. They showed his Facebook picture
camera
with him with a scully.
Over, JT.
They showed him.
I got the
video.
Showed him with the gold. I got the Trayvon Martin video also.
Right. They showed him with the gold.
I got the Trayvon Martin video also.
The pictures they showed. Mike Brown, after he did what he did, they tried to paint a picture like he's a thug, he's a criminal. Anytime something happens and it's a black dude, he was this, he was convicted of this, he was convicted of that. They're trying to paint the picture.
Do you think that really mattered though? I don't even think that shit even matter though.
Because it's the same play. If I'm on goal line and I'm finna power, I'm finna go up. It's the same play. When you get in those situations, it's the same play. Can you tell me one thing about the dude who tried to kill Trump? Have you seen a picture of him? Do you know what he looked like?
Yeah, the 21-year-old kid. Yeah, I've seen a lot. I know.
Did they show anything with him, with any swastikas or anything in his Facebook pictures?
Yeah, they said he was a part of like this extremist group, and he was a part of an extremist.
Did they show you pictures?
Yeah, they showed pictures of him.
They showed pictures.
Okay, so hold on, Weatherman. Let me be specific in answering you, because you're asking very specific questions, and you're really talking about reputation. What Weatherman is really saying is, have they gone after the victim's reputation? So so let's talk about the playbook that Weatherman is talking about. I'm just gonna expound on that. And I'm not gonna this is not about Candace. This is just about So how Jesus was killed was they ruined his reputation first. That way, if he is killed, no one's gonna complain about it, because hey, he was a bad guy anyway. So it's the bad guy thing. So it's the appeal to, hey man, it's a good thing we got rid of this type of person, even though they wasn't even doing anything in the moment.
And you speaking to something else that we not even talking about right now. Remember what you saying, but go ahead.
Okay. And so they did that to Jesus. And when they murdered Jesus, I'm saying they, whoever it was, murdered Jesus, it was celebrated when they murdered Jesus. And they did that to Malcolm. When they murdered Malcolm, they were, oh, well, he's a drug dealer. He was a pimp. And he said this. And when they did that to Martin, they did the same thing. And so the playbook for the black and brown is to ruin the reputation so that the public won't have a big outroar. Because
that didn't work, though.
It
worked. Made things worse.
No, it didn't.
Because that made things worse. Because that sparked up people like Steven Jackson, because Steven Jackson was upset, and it made people.
Oh, you mean the George Floyd thing?
Yeah. When they tried to ruin George Floyd reputation, that playbook didn't work no more. Because we own that shit.
Let me say it this. Let me say it this way. So, not the smaller community, meaning the black community, because we're on top of that. But the community at large, which is the white community.
But the black community also has a more powerful voice on the media now, and that's where still with Stephen. Yeah, absolutely. We run ESPN.
You just heard what she said. America is 60% white. You just heard what she said. America is 60% white.
But the only thing I'm saying, guys, is that for every one Candace Owens there's like of more people that's talking in favor of George Floyd and upholding his reputation and
for
doing things to make him in a good light. Because that's what Steven Jackson did. He did a great job at that.
Yeah, for Black America.
That's our responsibility.
But once white people heard fentanyl, right? Listen, for Black America. But once white people heard, oh, he's fentanyl, he's this. Oh, that nigga, he deserved it. Let that nigga. Man, why we talking about this? He was a druggie.
And white people, here's the reason. Here's the reason why it matters, fellas. And we'll get into this because it's going to be in tonight's show. Because we don't know what jury's going to be selected, right? And so how you feel about the victim matters in your decision on if you want to convict or not. If you think the person deserved it, you might say, hey, the police officer, you may lean toward the police officer's view. If you think, oh man, that was kind of messed up.
But it was so clear he went to jail for it though. He got convicted of it. But
it wasn't like it was clearly going to be a conviction. When it came back initially, it wasn't a unanimous decision coming back. They had to go back and redo it until eventually it came back unanimous. Now, let me play the rest of the actual video. So we've litigated that. So I think we're all in agreement that it was excessive. And I think we're now all in agreement that, okay, maybe, well, I don't know if we're in agreement about his reputation. I don't believe the police need to know anyone's rep because it's not their job anyway to know, what I was doing before they stopped me. Unless
it is because they can think you're dangerous, right? Like if you
Mula, it is not the police's business to know what I was when I walk out this door. If they stop me, I don't got to tell them what I just got finished doing. Because it's got nothing to do with why they stopped me.
I see what you're saying. All I'm saying is that, so, I have a friend of mine, and he's a convicted felon. And every time he gets pulled over, it reads could be armed and dangerous because of the crimes he had committed already.
Okay. Now that's a good point. Now let me address that to the fellas. Why hold on. Okay, before I make the point, brother man, because I was actually going to be in support of Muala, but let me hear what you got to say, brother man.
Okay. We basing how we interact with people off of their history, correct? That's basically what they do. When he get pulled over, they run his name. He's a felon. We're gonna treat him.
What is that called? That's called profiling. So if everyone's in favor of profiling, if we're in favor of it, then let's go.
So if we're in favor of profiling, everybody has a history. The white man himself has a history. He has a history of conquering people. He has a history of murdering people, raping people, pillaging, robbing. So now every time I see a white person, am I supposed to say, well, your history is this, so I don't know about you. I'm going to stay away from you. I might be next.
Or to say if you were a police officer, should you assume that and then say, okay, well, I'm going to pull him over because I'm okay.
Y'all can't have this conversation with Muller because Muller feel like racism is in
I don't.
Beholder. He don't think racism exists. He don't think it exists to the point where he can't overcome it. He don't think that.
I think that part, but I don't think that it doesn't exist.
So this conversation, y'all, that's why I ain't saying nothing. I'm just listening. Like y'all preaching to the choir. Muller ain't finna.
I'm not.
But Jay, it's important to hear your take because there's going to
Yeah,
the
we just want
audience
to
is
hear how
going
you
to be more than
feel.
us
Just
four.
like he has a right to feel the way he feels. I'm not trying to. We're not trying to convince him.
I mean,
we debating.
I'm agreeing. I feel like, oh shit, I'm in agreement with y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I'm in agreement with y'all. She doing too much, and she
Okay, so now,
definitely doing too much.
now I don't need to do this. But just for the sake of let's just talk about the police officer's view because all police officers aren't white. So let's just take the view of this.
That's what I'm. So if I was personally a police officer, right, I want every advantage that I can get when I'm approaching someone that I don't know, because I want to go back home to my family too.
Yeah.
So I want every advantage that I can get. If it's
but
not
you got the situation is under control. You got him down.
No,
the
I'm not
situation
talking
is
about.
under control.
I'm not talking about that part. I'm not talking about that, JT.
Every day when the police,
we on point with the George Floyd thing. I'm on that with that.
No, you right.
Okay,
as far as you want to go home every day thing, because if I ever get put over by police, I got my hands on the thing. Yes, sir. No, sir. Because guess what?
Well,
these white people got a history of killing people for nothing. So I'm going to comply so I can go home.
Well, okay. So now I'm going to put all this together, and then we'll finish the tape out, and then we'll move to a separate point. During that interaction, I'll call it. I guess during that murder, I'll call it what it is. There was an audience of people out there. Did you guys get a look at the audience?
Yeah.
Because I've heard some people say, well, nobody in the audience did anything. Nobody in the street. So I'm gonna up on the screen. I'm gonna put a screen up and I'm gonna show you guys something. This is what the audience looked like. Now, what do we see going on here? We see a lot of young kids, right? We see this lady here. This lady, can y'all see it? This lady here, she's actually a fireman, and I'll play the video. She's actually says it in there. These are all white kids. There's a couple of black kids. I think this dude might be a boxer or something. But I'm gonna play the video so we can. Let me stop sharing this. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna play the rest of this video. The George Floyd video.
Well, you got him.
I can't believe this.
Relax.
I can't breathe.
You're doing fine. You're talking fine.
I can't breathe.
Get off of his neck.
I think in many ways, those bystanders were like many of us who thought they were witnessing something awful, a crime, and they wanted to stop. But they also know that they're powerless, that they can get but so close to the flame before they might be burned.
I can't breathe.
You could get him off the ground. You've been a bum right now. You could get him off the ground, bro.
Donald Williams was one of the most vocal bystanders on the scene that day.
He had no feeling, he had no emotions. You know, you look in a man's eyes and you could tell a man who they are by looking them through their soul, and he had none.
He's not resisting arrest or nothing.
He knew what he was doing in a way, or he done it before. He just had no care.
Donald Williams was from Minneapolis, and he went to the Cup Foods that day just to pop in to grab something quick. And he started yelling at the officers.
I'm gonna pause real quick because I want to say something about Mueller. That would have been you, bro. That would have been trying to get the police to stop doing that. Because I don't believe you would have walked away and seen. I don't think. So this is what this is for JT. Even though you may have this impression about how Mueller may see racism, and if he can overcome it, he ain't gonna stand by and watch it happen. He's gonna jump in and say something.
Bro.
Hell no.
So I see him
I ain't gonna say, bro. When I seen that man losing his life, I would have tackled that police, bro, just to get him off of him.
I'm jumping on this motherfucking neck too. Right? Oh God, I'm jumping on this motherfucking back, pushing him off of him.
I would have got him off him just so he could breathe.
I would caution you not to do that, and because the video is going to play a little bit more, and you'll see how other police officers got involved. Watch this.
You've been a bum right now.
Calling them names and trying to get their attention, saying, look, it looks like you're holding him in a blood choke.
Like in a jiu-jitsu move, bro, you trapped in his breathing right there, bro.
Being realistic at the moment, the only thing I could do is speak and yell and, you know, tell them that what they're doing is wrong.
You're just sitting there stopping his breathing right now.
And hope that they understand that this is another human being that they're doing that to.
You see Floyd talking. You see him begging for his life. He's calling for his mother.
And when I heard him say, "Mama," like, that's when it got real with me. Wow. That was the, you know what I'm saying? That's the part. He went, like I said, he went back when his mama died.
His nose is bleeding, like, come on now.
I couldn't believe how long it went on. At one point, Derek Chauvin even looked up into the camera, and it was just this impassive, cold-hearted look.
The look in that guy's eyes.
He enjoying that. He enjoying that.
That's what Weatherman's talking about right there.
Nigga, look at his hands in his pocket.
You enjoying it. Look at you. Your body language explains it, you bum.
Roll him on his side. Once he stopped actively kicking us, I was like, maybe we should roll him onto his side. And I believe Chauvin said, you know, we have him. There's an ambulance coming. We got him. We're just going to hold here.
I'm a firefighter from Minneapolis. Bro, look, well, you should check on him. He's not responsive right now. Back off.
We have a woman come into the video, and she says, "I'm a Minneapolis firefighter. Is everything okay? Do you have a pulse?"
You think that's okay? Check his pulse.
You had a firefighter. They're trained as emergency medical technicians. They're on the scene.
You really a firefighter?
Yes,
bro.
I am from Minneapolis.
Okay. Bro, you.
Officer Tao asked her to get onto the sidewalk.
Check his right now.
And as a firefighter and an EMT is very concerned that they're holding him down this long and that he appears to be unconscious.
Bro, he has not moved not one time.
The reaction from Derek Chauvin is he immediately grabs his mace and starts to shake it.
He got mace. He got mace.
I think for so many people.
I gotta pause it, man, because this gets a little bit emotional for me because I see three brothers on my screen and and it gets tough. It gets tough for me because I would hate to be who I am and then have to see a video of that being one of y'all. And then, I know a little bit about all three of y'all. I know a lot about two of y'all and a little bit about one of y'all. And then the next thing I hear on the news is someone saying, "Oh, we look at JT on the podcast smoking and drinking," and he was going to pick up his son or his daughter someplace. And they just get a snapshot of him taking a puff of whatever it is in that little red cup. See, he would, and I would hate. Druggie. I'm almost in tears watching this because y'all could be Floyd, right? And so none of us are defending what this guy's doing. None of us are. But the extra piece to this is there's a still shot on the screen. You see a small group of people. Right, and you see 4 officers, 3 holding down one guy that's handcuffed. And I don't know if his feet are cuffed, but I know his hands are cuffed. I think this might have went on for 8 minutes. I think Muala would really notice, and I would notice that it only takes. I think Weatherman would notice too. A chokehold in an MMA fight would take 30 to 45 seconds. Right, now imagine holding that for minutes. Right now, just before a dude went out. And none of his friends are out there. None of these guys know him. So he's pleading to the officers, "Hey man, I can't breathe." Hey, and it looks like one of them want to do kind of okay. Hey, can we roll him over? And then they kind of fall prey to that one guy who says, "No, we're gonna keep him just like this." But even when you can see the guy that's standing, keeping people back on the sidewalk, the narrator, and I don't know if it's true or not, said he started shaking his mace. Right. So because they can lock you up for obstructing, a police arrest. They can lock you up and you can actually get in real trouble for that. So a lot of us are afraid to get involved because of the climate around police brutality, the climate around it. So now I'm going to revert back to and it wasn't even about just Candace. It was the other people that was on that, because Candace said a little bit of stuff. But those other 3 guys sort of dove into it. The 2 white people, and then the black guy.
Yeah,
they dove into
it. The white dude. It was so unfair. It's so not the truth, man. You've been paid to say that it wasn't the truth, man. He just got an example made out of him. That's the only reason why that cop was convicted for an example to be made.
I feel like that white man just echoed the feelings of white America.
Pretty much.
I can't read anybody's mind. So let me preface it by saying that. But Candace said, why should I put myself in George Floyd's
shoes?
shoes? And she didn't reference because of the situation. She referenced his drug use. But Candace, no one's asking you to put yourself in his shoes of the drug user. We're asking you to put your shoes in the. But okay, so I just want to sort of clear that up but that's part of rhetoric when you don't take the actual what someone's asking you to. You refer it to something else. And of course, no one's saying put yourself in the shoes of a drug user because we don't know when. I don't know if he used it right before. He could have. That don't matter to me, right? I don't know what he was buying out of that store. It was a $20 bill. It was a $20 bill. $20. Dude lost his life. And then we still don't know if the $20 bill was real or not. I don't even know. Or if it was fake, did he know it was fake? I don't even know. None of that matters because what really matters is one, what Muala said was there was an outrage, right? And then let's talk about the outrage. So now let's get past all that. Let's talk about this, along with several other cases, Trayvon Martin, and I think there was another one, forgot the guy's name, and it was
Mike Brown.
during the Obama administration. Mike Brown and a couple of other ones, Castro and a couple of other cases
Rice.
where there's so many of them, right? So these are the ones that we actually get caught on tape, right? There's so many that don't get caught on tape that no one gets to see. So this is all throughout the police force in America. This is not to say, and I hate putting this in, but I don't need to. I'll throw this in. All police officers ain't bad. However, if you see something going wrong, now hold on. Before I go down that road, I want to end this segment by saying this. We're going to go in for 50 minutes. I want to end this segment, and then we'll come back and we'll sort of talk about more the military part of it because I'm sure Weatherman has things he saw in the military that we're talking about the blue wall. Is that what it's called? Like the blue, what is it called? Where like the police don't tell on the police, whatever that's called. That goes on in the military also, and we can all talk about that. But let's take a quick break. This is the Endgame Podcast. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.